Oh, hey, what's going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on here. Absolutely nothing. You know what? I think something happens with these cell phones that like interferes with whatever cat's got going on because I try to make catnip videos and they're like, "Nope, we're done." And then as you see there, Rose was up there chilling the most, and then as soon as I hit record, she's like, "I'm out of here." So it's either A, there's just some fuzziness going on with the recording, or B, she's just like, this idiot's going to sit here and talk about Phish again. I am absolutely out. I am not listening to it. Now he's got those stupid glasses on his head. Nope, count me out. I'm not even sure where she went. She vanished. I turned around to let her out, and she's gone. I'm guessing she went in the closet over there. There is a little opening in the door. Floppy did the other thing, where he was like kind of a little bit below the whiteboard that you see hanging there. He was a little bit below that, like scratching at the closet door, wanting in, when just like 10 inches over, the door was open. So I just kind of like nudged him over. Then he kind of acted like, "Well, I didn't really want to go in there." I think he might have felt stupid. I don't know if cats have feelings like that or emotions of like feeling stupid. I know sometimes when you catch them in the litter box, they look kind of embarrassed. Even caught the neighbor's cat using our weed garden and I mean actual weeds. I'm not talking about marijuana. He uses that as his litter box. I was watching him the other day, start tapping on the window. He looked a little bit ashamed of what he was up to. And then with her, I don't know what her deal is. I am kind of curious about this camera thing, though. Maybe it's just the device in my hand they don't quite trust, because I've tried to get some catnip videos for Dan Z, and it just never happens. They either are just not interested in the catnip, or if they actually are interested in the catnip and they're kind of going wild and playing, it doesn't last too long when I bust out the camera. I think they just feel like I'm up to something. I don't know why this morning. I just decided I needed to go run a couple of errands that was gonna require not even getting out of the car. So I decided to take Floppy Jalopy with me. He did not like the car ride. We only got out of the neighborhood, and I just quickly went around the block and brought him back home. He got over on the front seat passenger side floor, and just like shoved his head underneath the seat. As soon as he was like okay in the car, but as soon as it started and moved, he didn't like it. And then as soon as we shut it off, he was okay. But then all I did was open up the screen door and then open up the car door, and he kind of crawfished it right inside the door. He was not interested, and so that's good. That's good. Makes me think he'll be a little bit reluctant to run away if he ever does sneak out. Rose, however, if she ever sneaks out, she's gone. She was outside one time. She climbed like 6 feet up the tree and looked at me like, "Argh." I was like, oh, she went from just like, oh, our cute little cat to like a 100% wild animal. That was, if she was larger, she would have killed me right then, I believe. Luckily, she's just like a little 10-pound cat. And other than a few scratches, there's not much she can do to me. Although she can do that. I play a little rough, I get her belly. Sometimes she's okay with getting the belly. Sometimes I get her bottom. Really, it's about the belly, the bottom, and the briskets with her. I get all three of them. Every now and then I catch a nail. I'll still get that belly though. What are you doing back there? I'm hearing noise. Oh, I see her. I just saw some movement. What are you doing back there? You see her there at the very, very bottom of the screen. This is the movement. So we're about to head to the Final Four. I'm about turning it out though. Been watching a lot of basketball the last couple of weekends. By the time I got to Auburn and Michigan State today, I was losing interest. Mostly because my bracket is awful. I don't really know what's going on with the ESPN standings either. I do feel like Spud should still be in first place. Unless I'm just like last night I checked it before it was fully updated or something, but I don't think so. I think Spud should still be in first place. For some reason, it has not given him credit for all four of the wins today, though. Some people got credit for all four wins, and I noticed Vermillion and Spud did not get credit for all four wins. So I'm thinking that'll update, and you will, in fact, still be in first place, Spud. But I know I would be panicking. I've had situations like that in other fantasy sports. Uh-oh, there she is. She wants out. Oh, yeah, kind of like the last few minutes of daylight we have out there, if you call that. It's almost darkness out there. It looks lighter here than it actually is. So I'm going to at least go until it is completely dark. This is going to be tough, and I had a little bit of would you rather here set up in the sense of Phish, really. The Bill Graham and Hollywood Bowl shows coming up is what got me thinking about that. And I was like, maybe I should save this for a live. But then if I did it live, like people come and go, and then just imagine every now and then, like we'll be right in the middle of Would You Rather, and there's a handful of us playing, and then someone else shows up and like it's not involved in the game, and they're asking about the Browns or something. And you know how I get distracted. I'll start talking about the Browns for a few minutes when really is what we're trying to do is decide, would you rather attend the shows at Bill Graham or the Hollywood Bowl? Just those being back-to-back, two venues that I most likely will never see a show at, but that do seem like they're pretty cool. Bill Graham obviously always sells out really fast. They love that venue too, They've already bailed on the Chase Center. I don't know why. Could be several reasons why. Mostly probably just because they love playing Bill Graham, though. So, would you rather attend a show at the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium, I believe is the official name, or the Hollywood Bowl? Just based on, man, I would say the Bill Graham Auditorium has had some excellent shows, so I think that would be my pick. Although the Hollywood Bowl, I mean, it's the Hollywood Bowl, so, you just check that off the list. Been like, oh yeah, I saw Phish at the Hollywood Bowl, But I think I would rather see them at Bill Graham. So then the next one was much easier for me, but then some people may have trouble with this. I suspect newer fans might have trouble with this. And that is not throwing any shade at newer fans, but I just think it will be easier for some. Big Cypress New Year's Eve or Gamehenge New Year's Eve? Which would you rather have been there for? For me, it's a pretty easy Cypress New Year's Eve. Although, if you really, really want to consider, that means I would have had to go to a festival, not a big fan, which also means I would have had to go to MSG in New York City, which I don't want to say I'm not a big fan. I just would feel like I would be overwhelmed and get lost and just be full of anxiety and just like not have a good time. Where at a festival, there would be a lot less of that, but there would be more of, you're just stuck at a festival, What are you going to do, sleep in a tent? It's probably going to be hot. There's going to be people everywhere. Phish fans at that. Ugh, you imagine? Anyway, so for me, it would be an easy Cypress, even though I would have to spend several days with like 70,000 Phish fans. I would take that. And then if you're just ignoring all of that and like, well, how about just the show itself? We could teleport you to the show and then take you out of there, beam you right back home. I think I would still choose Cypress. Although that was a really, really long show. I complain about these 3-hour shows now. Could you imagine me at like 3 a.m. at that Cypress show? Maybe I am considering the Gamehenge thing. All right, so it's still Cypress, even all things reconsidered. So now we get to Fluffhead. Would you rather Fluffhead open a show, or would you rather Fluffhead close a second set? I mean, I guess if you're wanting to play along, you can like comment or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll premiere this later. But again, even the premiere will be similar to the live thing. Fluffhead to open a show or to close a second set. Now, this one's tough for me because I love both. The only thing I will say is, there's some things that are equal to a Fluffhead opener, but I don't think anything tops a Fluffhead opener. Now, a second set closer, while again, Fluffhead very good, there are ways I feel like they could top a Fluffhead set closer. So, maybe surprisingly, I'm going with the Fluffhead opener over a closed set closer. Second set closer, that is. That's another tough one. Soul Planet or Set Your Soul Free? Which song would you rather hear if you were at a show? I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that one. Never mind. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now if you were at a show, would you prefer at some point in the show, Trey is on drums or Mike is on piano? If you got Trey on drums, things are probably pretty wild. If you got Mike on piano, well, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's probably pretty wild as well. I know we've gotten Trey on drums quite a bit. We've had Mike on piano one time that I know of for sure. I'm sure others. But I think I am going to take Trey on drums because that means Fishman is out doing wild things. I don't know. Mike on piano, though, man, who knows what that could lead to? Maybe Paige has fallen ill and had to leave. Well, then who's going to play bass? Not Fishman. Fishman on bass, Trey on drums, Mike on piano. That's your new trio. There's no guitar in the band. All right, so that one was kind of dumb. I don't even like that one. Don't worry about that one. Oh, 3-day festival or 4-day spear show run? I think I would do the Sphere. I know some people claim they didn't like the Sphere, though. I don't know. I don't believe those people were real sincere. I don't believe they saw it all. I think if you were there, you definitely loved it. And if you just couch toured it like I did, you probably thought it was pretty good. So I think I'm taking, oh man, that's a tough one though. The 3-day festival, the shows are usually amazing as well. No, not always. I think I'm going to do I would do the 4-day run at the Sphere over a 3-day festival. Ooh, Europe or Japan? If you were able to hit all the Europe shows or the Japan shows, which would you have done? Now, there were more shows in Europe, so you would have got more shows. You would have had to do more traveling. I think I would have chosen Japan, honestly. Even though there was fewer shows, I think the ratio of good shows per show, or whatever, the amount of, what I'm trying to say. Carini or Julius? Ooh, Carini. That's a very easy one too, really. For some, it might not be so easy though. You got to eliminate one. This is not a would you rather hear if you were at a show. This is one of the songs is gone forever, but then the other one's going to get played a lot more. I'm still ditching Julius. I set up a little men's and women's bracket here. Maybe I will save that for a live stream though. That's kind of ridiculous. It is tourney time though. We're talking brackets. We're only 11 minutes in, though, and I'm already about out of items. I thought I was going to go an hour. You know what I've done here recently? Over the last couple of weeks, I have went back to the very beginning, episode 1 of Theo Vaughn's podcast. And I've gotten through the first 8. I am on now episode number 9. All of them are totally solo, usually under an hour. And at some point in that hour, I think out of the 8 episodes so far, 7 of them, there was something in the episode that just had me in tears laughing. So I have been a little bit like, not like, oh, I can do that. But it did make me, it almost made me, it was almost like a challenge. Can I do that? And I don't know how many people were watching. I feel like that might have been my first That's not bad. Normally 11 minutes and 50 seconds in, that would have been about my 70th So that's not too bad. Considering now we were like I'm saying, I'm not comparing myself to him. Obviously, he's a much funnier guy, much more talented guy, has many more life experiences, more interesting things, has lived more interesting places, been around more interesting people. So that definitely gives him a leg up on me. And then some of the stuff he dives into, I just don't know if I'm willing to dive into it. Like, I'm going to see my mom later this week. I'm going to see Mary's parents later this week. I don't know if they may or may not watch. So they were saying some things I'm just never going to be able to bring up on here for that simple fact, where I think Theo was apparently beyond that. He was saying wild stuff in his stage act. So I think at certain points he was like, I don't really care what my parents think. And he doesn't have to worry about his wife's parents because he doesn't have any wives. At least not yet. It's funny, it's very early on, like still to this day, I'm not sure exactly what number. Was he 500 something podcasts in? He does still talk about being lonely and looking for a woman and not being married and wanting to get married and wanting to have kids, like right early. It wasn't that wasn't the focus as much as it is now. Not that that's the full focus now or anything, but it certainly did come up in some of these early episodes. One thing that did come up a lot, almost every episode in these early episodes, was he was still in LA at this time, trying to make it and like that part of show business. I don't know if he wanted a show, a movie, it just seemed like maybe he was looking for more than stand-up, like maybe just like a show business career headquartered in LA. And he just felt like he didn't he didn't fit in, he felt like he didn't really fit in. In fact, it wasn't that he didn't feel like he fit in. He wanted to fit in, and he felt like, well, I'm no different than these people. It was they who made him feel like he didn't fit in, Just like he felt a little bit discriminated against, being like where he's from, being a little circus town in Louisiana, sounding the way he sounds, looking the way he looks. Now, again, not on his level, but I certainly can relate to that. I remember at one point being, this is very early on in this YouTube thing, being in Vegas and being running into a big group of Phish fans, bunch of dudes. They were from like Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, somewhere. They were from the Northeast somewhere. I kind of forget where. I feel like maybe Connecticut or Jersey. And, we talked for a few minutes, but it's just like, and they weren't looking at me like, oh, wow, there's I mean, they were all cool. Don't get me wrong. They were mostly being cool and polite, but not 100%. A little bit of it was like, I just remember at one point, like I said something. It was pretty stupid, Not only was it kind of stupid, it sounded more stupid than it actually was, I suppose. Now I'm thinking about it. It's like, maybe I deserve this. Well, I didn't deserve this, actually. Anyhow, one of the dudes just like, I guess he assumed just because of the way I sound and the way I carry on YouTube and the fact that I just said something probably pretty stupid, I'm thinking now. He like kind of thought it was okay to mock me right to my face. Like he's so dumb, he won't even know I'm mocking him. Like looked over at his little jerk off buddies and just basically made fun of me right there. And then a half a second later was just like back to being real cool, like we're friends or whatever. And well, whatever. I'm used to it at a certain point. But then part of me wanted to just like take my boot and smash it right into his taint and be like, how dumb do you think I am, dude? You can't just mock somebody right in front of their face and expect that it's going to be okay. But I do kind of feel, and it's just like they were looking at me in a weird way. Like it was just almost like they were looking at me like they'd never, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. And maybe it was. Maybe I'm selling myself short. And maybe they're like, oh my God, there's the YouTube guy. Like they thought I was a big star or something. But I don't think it was that. I think it was like they thought they were above me and they kind of made me feel a little bit like less than, you know? That's when I was just talking about like not wanting to be at a festival with Phish fans. Stuff like that is part of the reason why. And then there are, and that's not, that was just one small group of Phish fans. I know I probably shouldn't like generalize Phish fans, but some, I've seen the worst side of the crowd, you know, and the community. I can't do two fingers over here. I have trouble. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can kind of do it. Although my pinkies move too. Can I do it without the pinky move? Nope. I have trouble. I definitely can't do the Star Trek thing. I'm trying so hard. That's the best I can do. I can't do it. Whoever does, you guys are like wizards. See people that can do that Star Trek thing, like you know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, they say that even hurts to like manually put my fingers in that position. So where should we move on to from that? I don't know. I got Trey sitting here staring right in front of me on the Late Show with Craig Kilborn. I don't want to talk about that. I didn't even know Trey appeared on Craig Kilborn. Although I don't know what year this is. This looks like it may have been is this the years? Ooh, I don't know. Is that possible? It was the non-Phish years, like '05 and '06. I feel like Craig Kilborn was probably long gone by '05 and '06. Top comment, I never knew this happened. Well, one look at Trey, I'll be just trying to tell if this is '05, '06 Trey or somebody will have to let me know. Mr. Marmar uploaded this. Mr. Marmar 420. Trey on Craig Kilborn. I don't know. So I'll have to regroup here and think about some more things. I know I got some more. I got more in me. Come on, this is pathetic. Oh, okay. I know what I'll move on to. I just watched this video, a short video of a cat on a plane. It was titled How My Cat Behaved on a 5-Hour Plane Ride. Hour one, pretty cool, you know, settling in, tucking its paws, looking out the window. Hours 2 through 4, sleeping. I was wanting total chaos in hour 5, and it didn't happen. It just continued to sleep through hour 5. Plane lands, end of video. I wanted total anarchy from that cat in hour 5, just going from seat to seat, jumping on people's heads, freaking people out, scratching people, biting people. Maybe the plane crashes, I don't know. Oh, it did remind me of yet another one of a million great Norm jokes. I'm going to butcher it a little bit, but hopefully you'll get the gist of it. It was a North American airline polled customers, and was like, what's your biggest complaint? You know, what did we do wrong? What can we get better? Number one complaint, obviously, was lost luggage. Number 2 complaint was, I didn't really like that fiery plane crash. Norm was so much better at it. It still made me laugh, though. Yes. So, now we got to wait a week for the Final Four? All right, we're not going to talk basketball, although there is still basketball going on. Looks like, I believe Spud is going to be the champion of the group. We don't know for sure, but it's looking that way. My bracket, completely embarrassing once again. I don't think I'm going to finish in last place, though. How come Auburn has like a 27-year-old? What's up with that, man? You see a lot of these kids, the smaller schools for sure. And then as you got up to the bigger schools, these players looked a little bit older. And then you get to the Southeastern Conference and you see Auburn has a 27-year-old on the team. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's legal or not. I know Brandon Whedon, he played college football in his late 20s. And of course, the Browns drafted him. Well, I started to watch this thing earlier. I suppose you'd call it a podcast, a documentary. I don't even know what you would call it. It was a 2-hour video on the song Andy, the Frank Zappa song Andy. One of my favorite Frank Zappa songs for sure. I was like 25 minutes into it, and I'm like, dude, I'm just going to listen to Andy. So I did. I just listened to Andy instead. In fact, it was right around the time I feed the cats. And I started saying the word, the type of wet food that they eat, and I was holding the phone up in the air with the Andy intro playing. I think I might do that every night now when I feed them, just to see if I can get them to go crazy for the intro to Andy at some point. Now, this may take weeks, months, but at some point that'll be rude though if I just throw on Andy in the middle of the day for purposes of a video or something, and then I don't give them anything at the end of it. I'll have to hit them up. Have to lay them out a little wet on the plate if I can train them to go crazy for the start of Andy. I mean, it's a pretty good theme song too. I mean, it sounds like something is here. Let's go. Let's eat. So let's see here. What else is going on, man? What else was I going to talk about? That's something Theo says a lot. I might start using that as like kind of just a buffer from one spot to the next. Or is that a bumper? Is that a buffer or a bumper? Maybe like a bumper. We'll call it a bumper. It is a little bit of a buffer though. But anyhow, just because I'm going to call it a bumper, it was like, I feel like he uses it when he is going from one subject to the next and he's kind of caught. And then instead of doing a bunch of uhs and ums, which I normally would do, or just in the video, he goes with, what else was I going to talk about? What else? I had something else. What else was I going to ask you? Usually it's what else was I going to ask you if there's a guest. But back when he was solo, it was a lot of, what else was I going to talk about? My favorite is, I don't remember who the guest was, but he had a guest on. And within the first 9 minutes, he was like, what else was I going to talk to you about? And the person kind of laughed. Like, oh no, this isn't going well. You're 2 questions in and you're already like, well, that's about all I had for you. So I will go to, let's go to this. I get asked a lot about, do I have a brother and a sister and a mom and a dad? And of course I have a mom and a dad. I mean, I don't know how it would be. I mean, there are ways to get here without having a mom and a dad. But I have a mom and a dad, of course, both still living. And I have a brother and a sister, both older. Not really much like me. They don't have YouTube channels, unfortunately. And then they are, they're older. Not really like me, I suppose. Maybe none of us are really alike. We kind of look alike, though. I dated this girl one time. Believe it or not, I did have a girlfriend before Mary. There was a long gap in between this girl and Mary. But anyhow, so I'm dating this girl, and she was aware that I had a sister, but they had never met. And I don't even know if she ever even saw pictures of her or anything. Maybe she saw like a picture or something. Not like I had like pictures of my sister hanging up in my room. And this was before cell phones where you just had a million pictures. I don't even know if there was like Facebook or anything. This was a while ago. This was 20 years ago or something. Anyhow, she sees my sister at a restaurant and walks up to her and was like, you must be Kevin's sister. And my sister was like, yeah, who the hell are you? I don't think my sister was not aware that I even had a girlfriend. She was probably like, oh, cool. He does like girls, turns out. There may have been some questions, I mean, I'm okay, maybe not right now, but I'm a decent looking guy. You'd be surprised how long I went without a girlfriend. I mean, most of us, because I spent a lot of nights sitting here at home making YouTube videos, doing things like, what'd you do on New Year's Eve? Couch toured the Phish concert. What'd you do? Went out, mingled, met people, shared air with others. I'm a little stingy with my air. Oh, whoa, what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. I moved out here to the porch for a moment. I came out here to check on the cats because I could hear the storm coming. I could see lightning. And I thought for sure they would be at the door scratching, wanting in. No, that is not the case. In fact, Rose is down here at the door acting like she wants out. Floppy at least looks a little bit nervous, but he's sitting here next to me on the couch. Most cats do not like thunderstorms, from my understanding. They will run and hide under beds, get in a closet. they usually want to go and get involved in it. Like the last time we had a really bad storm, they were like trying to push the curtains open with their face. They were like, what's going on out there? We want involved with all. Okay, there's Rose hiding behind the curtain now. Maybe she's had a little bit. Ooh, one good crack of thunder. Floppy. Well, now Floppy's on the ground. He's like, what's this? I feel like one good crack of thunder. Perhaps they're going to want inside, though. You hear that? It is extremely windy. This is, oh, there he goes. He doesn't like that. Now you can almost feel like, I just felt like almost like a little shake. I don't know. Maybe not. How could I feel the wind? Maybe like a little draft or something. But I felt like I just felt that big gust of wind. But it looks like, yeah, that tree that I just had taken down, it was even more rotten inside than I thought. I can't believe it was still standing. I mean, at the bottom of the trunk, like way over 50% of it was rotting. Rot 10, really. Part of it was still rotting, in the process of rotting. Others had already rotted. All right, you guys want to go inside? Is that hail? What the hail? I'm down for a good snow. I'm down for, oh, this isn't live, though. It'd be like if I got hit by lightning, that'd be kind of cool for a live stream. That certainly would get me to go viral, you would think. Guy gets struck by lightning, but I'm not live. If I get struck by lightning now, I don't know. Nobody will ever see this. Unless Mary has the presence of mind, perhaps, to upload it to my channel. She's good. She might actually do that. She might grieve for a week or so, then watch this video and be like, you know what? This is his life's work. I should upload it. All right, well, I may gather. The problem is if I gather the cats and bring them back in, they're just going to want to be in the room or they're going to mess with me. It's going to be hard to sit here and do this groundbreaking video. I'm almost halfway to an hour. I'm going to do an hour and I am going to premiere this. Perhaps I'll go back in there and sit down and think of some more Would You Rathers. And then, oh, I also should probably talk about the bathtub gin from that Portland show. It was phenomenal. You know, I just got carried away with the Ghost. I had just finished that second set. I went back and listened to a little bit of the Ghost for a second time. And I just was wanting to throw a Portland video. That video should have never got uploaded, really. I don't know what I was doing there. Sometimes I almost, oh, look at her getting in the window. Why are you so brave? Aw, why is her so brave? Yes, she's so brave. I wish she'd like come up here though and chill behind me. She's into it. Floppy, you want to go inside? You getting scared? Bad enough I scared him this morning when I tried to take him for a ride in the car. He probably thought he was going to the vet though. Although she's gonna move over to this window, get a little better angle. Get a little better angle of the storm up there. Yes. Okay, well, maybe we'll take this party back inside. Okay, so here we are. We're back in the room. Ooh, maybe we'll get some cool light. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Might get some cool lightning shots. Yeah, look at that. Strobing out. Is that too dark? Ah, it's too dark. Get monitor face. I hate monitor face. All right. So with the storm, one of them, Floppy got up in the tree to look out the window. Ooh, some nice lightning. And Rose finds a spot on the ground. I feel like maybe she can hear the rain. I don't know what it is, but whenever it's real heavy rain, there's a spot on the ground that she likes. And she will spend, hopefully, the next half an hour there. Floppy might come in here. If the thunder really hasn't started bumping yet. It's more of a rain and lightning storm. Maybe some low rumbling thunder. Have you guys checked out any more of the Primus? There I go again. Have you checked out any of the Primus drummer auditions? It's weird though because they already announced the winner, or the guy who got the job. Feels weird calling him a winner. It was a contest or something. They're auditioning new drummers for their band. So they have a drummer. They chose the drummer. The drummer has now played shows with them, but yet on YouTube they are still uploading the audition process. They were bringing in a drummer at a time over several days. And for some reason, I just feel like maybe they should have played all the videos. And I don't know. I just feel like maybe, I don't know what happened. Maybe they didn't know these shows were coming. I'm not sure. But I just feel like the timing's a little weird. Like, we already know. Like, why? I mean, I guess watching the auditions after the fact is still worth something. This one lady, oh man, I forget her name. I recognize her too from Mike Dillon's band. And that's how she got the audition, really. 6,000 drummers applied, 12 got an audition. One of them had some experience playing with Mike Dillon, or as Les Claypool called him, Greasy D. So I did recognize her from some Mike Dillon videos. I do not believe she was in the band. I don't know. Mike Dillon's one of them guys that he's never really had like a set band. So when I saw him in New Orleans 8 years ago, who knows? Some of those band members might not even be on Earth anymore. I'm surprised Greasy D still is. I might start calling him Greasy D. I kind of like that. So she did not get the memo that she needed to learn these Primus songs. I know Tommy the Cat being one of them, and a few others. So they play Tommy the Cat, and just being so talented and knowing a little bit of Primus, she's able to get her way through it. She's like, well, I didn't learn the song, but I played it. Anyhow, it did probably screw up her audition altogether, though. She did not end up getting the gig, but they were very impressed that she was able to just kind of go and figure it out. At one point, they did kind of have to tell her, no, keep going. But other than that, Fred Armisen, he opens up every video. And he's probably the best part. He usually has a funny little intro. I think I have seen them all now. I just love his intros at the beginning, and then it gets a little more serious. Well, as serious as it can be with Les Claypool. They show a little bit, they talk to the person, they talk to Larry and Les. They show some of the actual playing together. Les at one point was gluing up his fingers. He would be a hard guy to take. Like, if you've never met him, and then like one person they acknowledged that I must have been nervous at first, because by the end that guy was a monster, very, very talented. But at first they were like, ugh, he sucks. How'd he end up here? I don't know. So I'm sure there would be some nerves. He was like 27 years old. He mentioned being in high school in 2014, and Les was like, when were you in high school? Les was like, I was considering retirement in 2014. I think that was the same drummer who was really impressed with his bass guitars, was like, who makes these? Les was like, well, we do. You know, these are my own bass, and I have to have something customized for me. It's just kind of cool, I suppose. That would be nice to reach that point where you're like, no, I don't go and buy instruments. I don't even have the big instrument makers make them for me. Like, me and my people and my team, we work together and we make it. You know, I forget the name of his company. Crap. Anyways, so that's pretty cool. But not every musician can pull that off. Like, what do you think he pays for one of these bass guitars? Because he's got to pay all the people to make it and help design it and just everything, you know what I mean? Somebody's got to go out and get the wood. I use my birch tree. I wonder whose job it is to go out and get the wood. I wonder if Les like walks through the forest, like tries to find the perfect tree, gets an arborist or something maybe to confirm that, yep, that's a good tree. It's solid wood. Cuts it down, gets a bass. Do you really need to cut down a whole tree for one bass guitar though? Maybe we just take a nice good limb out of it. I think take a big limb out of that walnut tree and give him my nicest chunk of the birch. Have a birch walnut bass. I bet that'd sound good, a birch walnut bass. You can make beer out of birch, or birch beer, of course. I'm sure you've all tried. Don't. If you have birch syrup as well. McCavity was trying to fill us in a little bit on the birch syrup. Oh, I'm aware. Trust me, you think I don't know about the trees in my yard? That's what happens when you get this old. Home ownership. The things they don't tell you about home ownership. You will spend plenty of time on Google and ChatGPT wondering what is up with walnut trees and birch trees. Neighbor down there, though, my crazy neighbor next door, who's like major enemies with the lady that's 2 houses down. She spoke to me the other day, and I'm like, oh, Mario is not going to like this. Thank God Mario was not around. That's his name, Mario. Well, anyhow, our conversation didn't last long. I did not notice this. You would think now, over 5 years living here, that I would have noticed she also had a small birch tree in her front yard. So she yelled down, she's really going to miss my tree. And I was like, yeah, we are too. You know, unfortunately, we got to get rid of it. It was rotting. It was going to fall and destroy my house, or even worse. I still think maybe part of me is what's like, man, maybe I should have just let it ride. I just don't trust insurance companies, though. If I trusted insurance companies to be like, all right, your house is totaled. Here's what it's worth. Here's your check. I'd have been like, let's do it. Let's do it, man. But I don't trust them. They'd have been like, well, let's not get into that check just yet, Mr. P. Mr. 20. Last name's Primus, obviously. And then we are going to move on to, oh yeah, so we just talked a little bit about the birch tree. We didn't get too deep or anything. So I don't want Mario to be on, I don't want that guy on my bad side. Him on the bad, you know what I'm trying to say. I just don't want that guy to be an enemy. He seems like a little bit like he ain't, there's a few cards missing from the deck, I think. He's a loose cannon. And I've also noticed this guy, I'll tell you one thing I really can't stand about this guy is never coming through on the promises. Like he is a big deal when he's putting this fence up. It did kind of affect me in my yard. And I was just totally cool with everything, man. I don't care about the noise. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're in my yard. I don't care if my yard gets messed up. Whatever, man. I feel like I'm kind of getting a privacy fence out of the deal, at least on that side. No complaints from me. So, yeah, man, but there was a few things along the way. He was like, well, okay, well, I'll do this for you. And then there was some readjustment of the fence. And he's like, I'll take care of that. He never does, though. Like, if anything, maybe he just is like, well, he doesn't really care, which I don't that much. But even if the guy was like, oh, I don't really care. If I messed up somebody's yard a little bit, it's nothing too damaging, but it's noticeable. Like, I certainly would have fixed that. Even if the guy was like, I don't care. And then when he partially removed my old fence, which again, I was like, totally fine. That's an ugly, just old fence. I don't care about that fence. Go ahead. He didn't fully remove it though. He's like, oh, don't worry. I'm going to get the rest of that. I'll remove that. I'll get a bobcat, whole deal. He never did. And then he's like said, I'm also going to finish up this little section here. I'm actually going to run this from the edge of my yard over to your house here. So you'll have that little section of a privacy. I was like, perfect, man, no problem, whenever. Never did it, never gonna do it. Now I think his son over there has a pregnant girlfriend. I've been noticing. I'm pretty sure it's his son's pregnant girlfriend. Seems way too young to be his girlfriend. And I have noticed the son. I'm pretty sure he has a son. Not positive it's his son, but I think it's his son. Seems age appropriate. Had some high school graduation stuff in the yard a couple years ago. I think the kid's off to college now or something. Maybe not. Having a baby in the oven may not be the best. Although he's the dad, it's not like he's the pregnant one. I suppose he could still. I'm not sure. I don't know how that works. We had a girl. I was in 8th grade. We had a girl get pregnant. And then she went on to have another kid before high school. I moved. I didn't go to that same high school, but in middle school, she gets pregnant in 8th grade. She left school. She was noticeably pregnant. And then that was about all I knew. I moved on, went to another school, never really heard much about her. And then years later, my brother married a lady from that same school, and she knew her. And we talked about it at one point. She was like, oh, yeah, she had another kid, like her junior year in high school or something. She had 2 kids by the time she graduated high school. She did end up graduating, though. Believe it, it's pretty impressive, I feel, to have already started a family when you're in middle school and then add to it in high school. I don't know about college, though. I don't know what happened beyond that, and I don't know how many kids she ended up with total. But the school I moved to, they had one of them girls too. She was younger than me, but there was a girl in the new school district, had a kid in 8th grade, and then had another kid in high school. By that point, she was in the high school with me. That girl, I will say, though, for even I could almost understand it. Now, the guys that were getting her pregnant were also kids. It's not like grown men were getting her pregnant, but she just seemed like she was just way further advanced physically than the other girl. Like at 14, she looked like she could have passed for like a freshman in college probably, when really she was a freshman in high school. And I don't know what that has to do with it. I just feel like maybe there's something going on there. It's like she almost looks like she's ready, like she's old enough to have a kid, even though she wasn't. She did look way more physically mature than all the other girls. Like she didn't just look like a little kid. I remember that about her, almost feeling like there was something there to it. Like just they're like, well, you're ready. You look like it. You were ready for a kid at 9, basically. A lot of it's boobs, A lot of it is boobs. But it was also her face. She just looked like an older woman, It's like some lady that would work at Kohl's or something. And I don't know. I don't know. So where are we now? From there, I don't know where we go. Luckily, I didn't get any girls pregnant in middle school. I was still way into sports in middle school. That was also the problem when all the years I should have been to get back to the not having a girlfriend for so long. All the years, like in middle school, freshman year in high school, when you're sort of ditching games and sports for girls, I kind of didn't. I was still into like playing video games and sports. And I didn't even play the cool sports. Like I wasn't on the football team. I wasn't on the varsity basketball team, you know. I ran track and cross country, some summer baseball. Didn't even play baseball for the school, you know. I never liked baseball. I don't even know why I played. I think I just played baseball because it was one of the sports, you know, that you played. But for high school, it took place during track, which I don't even know if I could have played baseball. Probably couldn't have for the high school. For whatever reason, the boring sports, track and cross country, were kind of more my thing. I never wanted them to be, though. I just really never fully got into it. Like originally, the first time I ever ran distance, it was like, well, it'll probably help me in basketball and other sports, you know, so I'll do it. But I didn't really enjoy it. And then I just happened to be kind of good at it, and everybody's telling you you're good at it, and you're going to be even better. I barely got any better. Like between my freshman year, I was like the best freshman in our conference. At a fairly big, you know, it was a Division I high school, pretty big, you know, pretty solid competition, really. Like I shouldn't have been on the all-conference team as a freshman, but I was. Then unfortunately, I never really got any better. My sophomore year, in fact, I was exactly the same. My junior year, I actually went backwards. I couldn't even run a 5K in under 18 minutes my junior year. And in my senior year, I finally did kind of get it together and got a personal best time, but still nothing like, you know, I never got into the 16 and a half minute range, which at some point was the hope. You know, if you run a 5K in like 17 and a half minutes as a freshman, certainly by the time you're a senior, you could probably drop a minute off of that. I did not. I was able to drop about 12 seconds off of it or something. I believe maybe a 17:24 was my fastest 5K ever. One time I got a mile under 5 minutes, only one time ever. But unfortunately, it was not in a track and field invitational. It was the first mile of a cross-country race. For some reason, I went out hard. I mean, I was kind of looking around being like, am I in the lead? I'm like, okay, I know that guy. What am I doing up here with these guys? So then we're coming at the mile split, and there's always a person there giving you a time. And as we're approaching him, I'm hearing 4:54, 4:55, 4:56. And like as I'm passing him, he's like 4:57, 4:58. And it just wrecked me. Like something in my head, I was like, I went too hard. I went too fast. Like I could almost feel my body tightening up and slowing down, and just like felt like I was like Colonel Forbin in a quagmire. And it was just all in my head because I felt great. You know, I still wonder, like, what if I didn't just like mentally crack when that guy yelled out that number? If that guy had never yelled out that number, I think I might have got under 17 minutes that day in a 5K. But instead, I totally crumbled and ended up probably running like an 18 and a half minute 5K. Starting out with a 4:58 mile. Whew. Was I a regional champ? No, I was not. And track, man, we're just running in circles. Distance running and track is not fun. The steeplechase was cool. Got to do the steeplechase one time. That was pretty rad. I don't know if you know what the steeplechase is or not, but next time you're bored. I only got 17 minutes left here, so you might even consider bailing now and just YouTubing steeplechase. Let's see if there is a high school steeplechase. In fact, I am going to look up. I don't even know if they still do that, man. They might be like, that's too dangerous. Okay, here we go. Boys 2,000 meter steeplechase championship, the New Balance Nationals. Okay, outdoor 2023. So I'll watch a little bit of this. Oh God, video's only 7 minutes and 46 seconds. And they haven't even started yet. So these guys blow through their 2,000 meters in about 6 minutes or so, it looks like, or less. All right. Let's get the race started. Here we go. All right. The steeplechase distance. Ooh, what do we got there? I was going to say the steeplechase and track and field, very white of him. I'm seeing a lot Oh, they got over it. Everybody stayed. Nobody went down. It's just the first lap. Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe not. This might not be an all-white event. It's kind of like the sprints, the 100-meter final. You're never really going to see a white guy. It's the opposite in the distance races. A lot of ponytails, a lot of dudes with long hair running the distance races. I don't know what that's about. You think they would want short. Oh my, I hear Floppy out there going crazy. What are you crying about, buddy? We're in here. Come in here if you want. He's probably mad because the storm's calming down. Okay, enough of the steeplechase. What am I doing? I'm going to sit here and watch guys run in circles? Come on. See, they got the 2024 Oh, I saw that thing. What is it? The Barclays? That crazy marathon. Nobody finished this year. A while back, I watched a documentary on a recommendation. Might have been Joe LaRocca. Or one of you may have recommended I check out that Barclays Marathon. I believe it's the Barclays, right? It's just some crazy ultra marathon like, not Saquon. What's going on out there, buddy? I hear you. Yeah, the Barclay Strikes Back, 2025's brutal return to form. I didn't really like how it went down. It's like, just because a lot of people finished last year, they just were like, they went a little too far, it sounded like, this year. Even the start time was ridiculous. The books, I don't know. Maybe you don't even know about the Barclays. Anyhow, check out the Barclays Marathon next time you're bored. I know I have, and it's very interesting. But it's also, and who are these people that want to try this stuff? What are they lacking? That you want to go try this. There's maybe it was that one time in a high school race when they blew it. They're still trying to avenge the time they went out too hard in the first mile. All right. This is getting a little bit boring here. Hold on. We're going to regroup and we're going to finish strong. I promise. I don't know what's going on here too. I feel like I've gotten more tired as we've gone along. Oh, okay. So I don't know about that strong finish. I took a quick gander at my Phish stats. I was like, well, maybe something noteworthy will come. Forget about the Phish stats. What I did kind of get going on in my mind, though, some marbles started rolling around, was I was reminded of the fervor surrounding the Baker's Dozen. It's kind of crazy the first time they went to Mexico, how just like tickets sold out so fast. They were nearly going to announce more shows in Santa Fe or something. I really blew that one. All right, so let's just get to what I was going to say. We were looking the Baker's Dozen fervor, and I was like, yes, whatever happened to that one-armed Wook? There was a one-armed Wook named Steve who was claiming he had to be at every show, and he was going to do whatever it took, selling veggie burritos, giving BJs, it didn't matter. One-handed old fashions. I mean, this is the only way he could give one. He said he didn't care. And I believe this guy had children on tour with him. So I don't know how that ever turned out, if he was able to get to all. I mean, hopefully the veggie burritos got through. I don't want these kids being traumatized, their dad having to do something that he's not going to be proud of just for Phish tickets. If he also got those tickets, I guess it makes it a little more acceptable. But here we are, 8 years later. I haven't heard a thing about the dude since that video. And I made him up in the video. It wasn't even real. So that's probably why I haven't heard much from him, All right, that was supposed to go on for 13 minutes, and I just wrapped it up real quickly. All right, that was it. There was no one-armed Wook named Steve. He wasn't giving out old fashions for tickets, or selling veggie burritos, or delivering BJs. I don't know if you deliver a BJ or not, but somebody's giving BJs for Phish tickets, right? Somebody has. Have you? No, I don't accusing any of you, but tough tickets in Vegas, the early night. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going too far. Big Cypress, the Sphere. I'm telling you, that first Mexico was in demand, as well as the Baker's Dozen. Although the Baker's Dozen didn't sell out, I think the problem was getting all of them and figuring out, how am I going to pull this off? You have to spend nearly a month in New York City hitting up these 13 shows. And yeah, maybe you did have to do some things you weren't proud of. Some of them may not even have been legal. I heard some stories about what people had to do to hit all 13 shows. And look, giving a BJ behind a 7-Eleven was the least of the problems. I don't even think that's illegal. I mean, it depends, I suppose. In some certain situations, it would be extremely illegal. But if it's two consenting adults, the owner of the 7-Eleven doesn't care. Say you own it, man. It's the problem. public. I don't know. People could see. That's their problem. What are they looking at? It's like this video. Nobody's making you watch this. Why are you watching that guy? Why are you watching those two behind the convenience store? I don't know. That was about it. I know we still got 11 minutes to go. It's what I was doing there. It's what I'm hoping now. It's like, I hope my mom's still watching. What do you think? My mom's like, what's a BJ? Hey, what's a BJ? Your brother's in here talking about BJs and one-armed old fashions. What is that? It's not how my mom sounds, but she certainly wouldn't make it 50 minutes in. I think she likes to watch a couple of minutes, look at the comments, make sure nobody's bashing her son. She's like, people really like you. I'm like, how do you know? You're not supposed to be watching. Stop it. I've been telling her not to watch for like 10 years. She will not listen. I will say for the most part, she's always been a pretty respectful mom. I would like to think that she is the type of mother that I've been like, look, Mom, I know you're tempted and you want to, and you feel like it's harmless, but I just don't want you watching, okay? It's a little bit of a buzzkill. She just cannot respect that. She just has to know, just has to know. And when it comes to Mary's parents, I blame Mary more than I blame them. She could have just lied to them. She's lied to me before. She couldn't lie to her parents about how we met. Hell, I told people we met on Instagram if I didn't want to. I just don't want to have to encounter people in real life that will see this. Like all of you, maybe I'll run into you at a Phish show. That's fine, whatever. I wouldn't mind. You could be like, oh, dude, that BJ story. Whatever happened to that one-armed Steve? I'm fine with that. I don't want to have to sit down at Christmas or Thanksgiving and be like, so what about this one-armed Wook? What is a Wook exactly? I don't know. I just don't want that. So what ends up happening is a whole bunch of stuff is just off the table. It's a bummer. Now, I've gotten through 51 minutes here. Pretty good. I got a little out of line a time or two. No, I didn't. Fine. Calm down. I think I will premiere this, though. But if I premiere it, well, that's good because there were some lulls and some boring spots. Hopefully some laughs, though. I feel like if I premiere it, though, we're just all going to be chatting about random things. You guys will talk amongst yourselves. Some guy will show up and talk about the Browns, which is fine. I like the King of Cleveland. I really respect that guy is still a fan of the channel. He still invites me to come and watch a game with him, maybe even do the draft. I just, at a certain point, I would have given up. I'd have been like, man, that guy, whatever. Tried to be cool to that guy. Just wants to sit at home and do nothing. Good for you. I do probably spend too much time at home doing nothing. I haven't been out to watch a Browns game or even a Buckeyes game in a while. That's just, I don't really like drinking, though, and it always involves drinking. And if you're not going to drink, then you're just going to end up around drunk people. But maybe I owe the King of Cleveland a game. And it might be cool. I don't know. Might be fun. Not really. Browns games are never fun, though. Even if you pick one, you're like, okay, this team's 0-7. The Browns are 9.5-point favorites. That wouldn't matter. So, maybe one less check. Oh, we definitely got dark. Why does it still look like kind of gray up there? You see that dividing line? It's like black at the bottom. That must be shadows. Yeah, that's a shadow coming off the ceiling. I see now. It's like, why does it look so gray out there? But it's the lights bouncing off the ceiling and then the reflection. Not a shadow, a reflection. I'm going to go check on these kitties. Perhaps refill the Pepsi. Maybe we'll do a little bit more Would You Rather to end this, I'm going for laughs here, but I have said some things I hope got a laugh. That was the attempt here. I was very inspired by Theo just sitting down and doing an hour, although I paused it. I had to call several timeouts. I pulled a Chris Webber on you multiple times. Good news is I got unlimited timeouts. I don't know if anybody will find this funny. It's a basketball joke. My sister one time, my dad was giving her shit about committing 4 fouls, and she didn't even play very much, Limited playing time, she committed 4 fouls, and she was like, hey, I had 1 left. Okay, so the kitties are cool. They have settled in on the porch. One of them is on the couch, the other is on the floor. When I opened the door, they both went. I hope you didn't just see up my nose. Maybe I should have went. But they looked up. I'm so tall. All right, I'll leave you with this. Maybe we don't have to do a full 60 minutes, but I'll leave you with this. And I will say this is a good racism. It's a little bit racist, but it's a good racist. Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I don't know the year. I'm a young man. We were down there visiting some of my mom's family. She had family. My mom's from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Still had family that lived down there. So somewhere around 8, 9, 10 years old, we're visiting. We were at my Aunt Effie's house. Very modern name, Effie and Dick. We were visiting. So, and it was, it was like a predominantly black area by this time. Good for Effie for not leaving. Effie and Dick didn't believe in white flight. They're like, we're staying. We put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this home. This is our home. We're staying. We like our neighbors. Good for them. It wasn't so good for me though. At like 9 or 10 years old, I'm outside playing with some of the local athletes, and we decided we were going to race, these young black kids and I. Well, we're going like, all right here's the line. There was like a little line in the street. It was perfect. So we're going to take off at the line and run to the end of the street. This was just going to be a foot race, a sprint. And as we've already discovered in this video, I was a distance runner. So we're lined up. My dad opens up the door and yells out, "Kevin, don't bother." He knew they were all going to smoke me, and they did. They all smoked me. Even at like 9 years old, these kids were so much faster than me. I learned that lesson as I got older in track and field, that I was not a sprinter. I went to a middle school. It was a mixed school, white and black. And yes, the black kids were always way faster than me. And I was like, yeah, you want to do a mile? All right, guys, boom. I'll leave you with that. We're out of here. I hope that wasn't actually racist. It was supposed to be funny. Kind of seemed a little, it was funny. Calm down over there. Lighten up. Boom, we're out of here. Okay, I'm premiering this, and this is the official goodbye. If anybody made it the whole time after the fact, I was going to play more Would You Rather. All right, how about Bowie versus Hood? Bowie or Hood? You only get one. The other's got to go. I would say Hood. What about Reba versus Tila? Okay, that's an easy one. We got Reba. So now you got Hood versus Reba in the championship game. One of them's got to go forever. Reba or Hood? That's a really tough decision. One of them has to go forever. I hate to say it, but the big boofy redhead Reba's out of here. Standard Reba's the problem. As beautiful as it is, Hood can sometimes get a little wild. Love you guys. Boom. Thank you so much. This was my first and probably only attempt. Blame Theo. Hey, he had Bernie on. Calm down. All right, he had Trump and JD on as well. Damn it, I made it an hour without even talking about any of that stuff. It's impossible not to right now. For the record, I hate every single one of them. You should too. Come on.